Hello, space engineers. Welcome to my test base. This is just a world I use to create, well, various things. This is a creative world mode, so I don't have to worry about resources, welding, any of that. It simply makes it quicker, faster, easier for me to do testing of various stuff. And what I've been doing here is I've been trying to figure out what the final shape and a few things on my space elevator. Now originally, let's see, where is it? I had a design, or my plans were, let me get up here, for something like this. It's simply a 3x3 square that has a conveyor running up the middle of it. And I'd already have something designed that would build it. You know, I don't have any I had the blueprint for the tower, but you can't really blueprint something that builds like this. A bunch of subgrids doesn't really copy over very well. But that's what I've got down here. There's actually two separate blueprints. This is the first one. It prints and welds this going up, and this is what it welds when the second stage of it. But I think I'm going to change my mind on that. Well, I could get that to work. It'd work very well. My carriage that I use to get up and down it would be kind of limited. So something more similar to this is probably what I'm going to end up with. This I put together just to test the carriage part of it. Now this spacing exactly may not be what I end up with or work, but it does climb up and down this without too much of a problem. And it doesn't cause damage to any of the blocks. The main problem I have with this is just a visual thing, as my wheels are cutting into each other right here. And I think I can fix that or work on that to where it doesn't do that. So I need to finalize a design and a blueprint on this over here. This is the spacing for the climbing section. Just trying to figure that out. On this one here, since I'm doing it in two stages, or was doing it in two stages. So the first stage, when it's lifting up this top section, welds the middle. Well, I've got an extra set of welders down here encasing that. I don't think I'll need to do the two-stage thing, so I need to refigure out some spacing on my blueprint. And that blue section right there, if you can see that, is kind of what my spacing will end up being. So that'll kind of be the core, the center section of it. So I'm going to see, let me get and start to lay things out here. Going to start with, it's going to let me, oh, don't tell me you're not going to let me stand that up. Well, this is going to have to do it another way. There. To know from there, I'm going to need 1, 2, And keep in mind, colors are always subject to change. Yeah, let's do that. Then I need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe that's right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that'll be that. And I will still go ahead and use merge blocks at the top just to help keep things stable and lined up. So that will essentially be my core, and that's just a repeating pattern. So, you know, not that bottom block, but from there up, it will repeat. And from that, we need to lay out some other stuff for the other 4 pillars, for the rest of it, what surrounds it. And I need to figure out for that. So, well, that took longer than I was expecting. But this, I think, will end up being what I build. There's going to be a bit more iron. Okay, that's going to be a lot more iron and steel plate than what my original design up there was, just a small 3x3. But I think with the carriage that I can put on this, I made my corners 1 block wider. That should help with the clipping we're having over there with that. And the red section you see down there, that is what is not going to get welded. That is only needed to help keep this all one projection instead of having to do 5 separate projections and trying to keep all that lined up. I can do it all in one shot with this. I might have some bracing built on the first one just to keep it all together as it's getting built, but that will later be removed. And that will allow me to keep this all one shot, one projection. This gives me plenty of room to put something to build, you know, a printer in the middle of it, and that should give me a decent sized carriage. So I'm going to finalize the blueprint, or make the blueprint of this. I'll see how much time I've got, because I'm not sure I'm going to use all of what I just recorded. And see, perhaps start getting some foundations built back in our survival build instead of this creative world. I'll see you when I figure things out. Well, I made it back. I made a final design of that blueprint, made a 1 or 2 changes, added a few things. Main thing I had forgotten is if you look up there, you can see the connectors. I forgot about the connectors. You didn't see me put those in earlier. but I'm going to need those connectors. But that is there, what it's going to be. Now I've moved over here. This is the survival world. I'm up here on our mountaintop. I'm going to start laying out a few things to work on getting this thing start to go. Let me get into this. Right now, I've just got this projected up here as a reference, so we can get some of this set up. First, the major problem I'm going to have is I'm kind of building this upside down from what I've built my previous ones at, so trying to think upside down on how I'll do this. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch. We want that there. And on the end of that, we're going to have a... Nope. Hold on. We want that. No, we don't, because this is sideways. Let me turn this. That ain't it. It never seems like these do what you want them to do. There. That gives me a bit better idea. And let me go ahead and drop that down so it's lined up correctly. There we go. And that will put that down there. And let me go ahead and do one like that. And that should be another one of those. Another one of those. And another one of those. I'll hit the right buttons here in a little bit. Okay, that's that part. Go ahead and complete the loop here. After spending so much time in creative, I keep trying to run it like I'm in creative. So we've got that. Actually, that's not going to be quite right. Let me reinforce this. Because those need to be conveyed conjunctions. And let's go with these. Nah, let's go with the standard version. No, I think I'm still doing this wrong. It's back to having to do everything upside down. I do want these just to be here like that. And those will be lined up with that. And this here, I need room for welders. So, going to take out the middle section. Like that. And some of that might still get moved around. This will be the top section. This will have a bunch of welders. On top of this, we're going to have our pistons. That's not lining up like I was wanting. But I think I can get away with. Let's go with one of these. And then we're going to, put these on. That lines that up with that. Is that going to work? No, that's not going to work. Okay, I'm going to have to... I think I'm going to have to redo my blueprint a bit to swap these two around. So I'll move my merge block from down here to up there. Simply for this section, because this won't work. But I can do that. So we're going back to this. And that. Yeah, okay, I see it's messing me up. We can make that work. Give me a chance to weld all this up. That's kind of the basic design. I don't have the welders or there's a couple grinders that'll be on there. But let me weld up this section of it so we've got a little better idea of what's going on. Well, got that welded up, so now you can kind of see a a little better the design here. Need to get up there, put that on. Need to get my welders in place. Let's get going. Still somewhat figuring this out. These two here will be connectors. And off the bottom of that, let's continue to use these. So I think that needs to disappear. And I'm going to stack that. Is that going to be close enough? I think that's right. Yeah. Oops. So that's the grinders. Those will take off the connectors and merge blocks as I go up. Off this side, we need welders. Think about where I'm putting these. I think what I'm going to do, now that I've welded all this up, is to take all this out and put one welder right here and another one over there. So I'll take this one out. So something like that. And I'm going to stack those again so we can have a bit more speed out of this. So we've got that. That should cover this stuff on the side also. And to help prevent things from welding up that don't want welding up. Let's see if they have. Yep. I can add these in. That should block off it welding that red up there. So we've got that. Now we also need to weld up this stuff, which where's that lining up at? That's like that. So let's go let's do that on each side. Okay, I may not, I've got lights in there. I may not weld up the lights. Because I'd have to have welders in here on the inside just for those lights, I think. So right now I'm thinking I'm not welding up the lights. Actually, that needs to go out further. Keep forgetting the welders 2 blocks. Need the extra room for those. And you're starting to see, yeah, this thing's going to get big and heavy. Now this part on this end's not moving, but I've got to have something similar later. I've also got to set up some more pistons somewhere to help lift this thing up, which I can set them up on top of these. Let me continue laying this out. Whoops. But I think you can see the idea I've got going here. I'll extend these out to run more welders on this side to get that part of the corners. But it looks like it's probably time for me to wrap this episode up. I'll finish building this thing, getting it set up, well, building it, getting it welded up. And I think next time we'll be programming this thing, getting it to move and getting it to build. And see if we can't get this thing actually moving upwards. Until then, I will see you around.